as many of you know, we are moving. I shared the news, I don't know, a week or so ago, but we had a showing this morning, a real estate showing. And so I thought this would be a perfect time to give one last look at our homes. This will be the last home tour of our farmhouse. It is definitely bittersweet just because what we're moving on to for the next chapter of our lives is super exciting, but also we poured so much into this house, and I want to share all the things that we did and just a last glimpse of our home and all the love that went into it. First off, this front porch, we didn't do a ton, but we did paint it, add some decor. We took off the screen door because it blocked this beautiful door with all of the Victorian details. There's a transom window above it. And today it's cold, so we have a nice fire going here in our wood stove. Here is the entryway. If you remember when we first moved in, there was just a plaster covering the chimney. We added the faux brick to make it look like an exposed chimney. We added the tile and the Yodel wood stove. Can't really see the flame, but it's going today. It's cozy in here. I did little projects in this room, like make the pleated lampshades. I brought in lots of vintage and antique rugs. Got another one right there. We painted, it's hard to see because this room isn't the brightest room. It's the darkest room actually in the whole house. But we painted the ceiling. This was already like this wood paneling here. We painted it and all the trim and the walls and the doors all the same tan color here in this room.
But you need to get us a popsicle. I need a popsicle, Mom.
You do? We'll take a quick pause in this home tour to tell you about the way that we keep our pantry stocked with healthy organic goods, both here in our new house and in every season in between, and that is with Thrive Market. So thanks to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. Thrive Market is an online grocery store that specializes in organic ingredients, natural ingredients, things that maybe you won't find at your local grocery store if you live in a small town like I do, or if I can. They are quite pricey. I feel like that's the same case in cities. Even when they have organic food stores, they're very expensive. But Thrive Market's goal is to offer those quality ingredients at an affordable price. I love getting Thrive Market brand spices, condiments, pasta, so many staples. I also stock up on snacks for our homeschool co-op lunches. I get einkorn flour and olive oil. I love that on the Thrive Market website, you can sort by dietary preference. So if you are paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, you can make it to where you only see those options. It makes for a very streamlined shopping experience, plus orders over $49 ship free. Thrive Market is having their huge cyber sale between November 29th and December 2nd, where you can save an additional 30% off over 3,000 different items. It is their biggest sale of the year, so if you have ever wanted to try out Thrive Market, this is the perfect time. Head to my link, thrivemarket.com/Farmhouse on Boone to receive 30% off your first order, plus a free gift worth up to $60. Plus, you'll save an additional 30% off over 3,000 products during Thrive Market's Cyber Weekend sale. And just off this entry hall, we have, there's a little nook here. This used to be where there was a staircase coming in from this porch and then going upstairs. I'll show you the evidence of that upstairs later, but the pantry was also a staircase. So this little bathroom has a lot of functions. It's our laundry room. It's our guest bath. We did this vanity here. It's an old dresser that I found someone to cut the marble and add a sink. We put in a clawfoot tub, so there was no bathtub or shower on this level. This was a full door. We took half of the closet out to put in the tub, which for us was totally worth having this main floor bath and laundry area, because there are so many times where, like pretty much every night, I bring my little boys in here, throw them in the bath, throw their clothes straight in the washer, put their jammies on them straight from these baskets so that we don't even keep the clothing in their room at all. and then they go upstairs fully ready for bed. And I don't have to, you know, bring all their clothes down, their shoes. We just do that whole thing there. When they are upstairs, they're clean and they're ready for bed. So having some kind of combined laundry, bath, and bathroom area has been game changing. So in our new house, I didn't want to make it all one room just because, again, that's not exactly how I would design it, but it's pretty nice. So what we did was we have a mud room in the middle of a bathroom and a laundry. So they're all kind of connected. So the kid will come in to the mud room, throw their clothes in the laundry that's here, put them in the bath that's here. So still kind of the same vibe, except for not one room, just 3 rooms connected, if that makes sense. This door here, it's kind of like a barn door. I don't know, it's just what was here. We painted it. We painted this whole space. We added the beadboard, painted the top, this dark color, added the lights, the mirror, and the trim here. So I found this from salvage yards to trim this out to make it look like the original trim. Now the previous owners had some just little trim around the window, but I went to a salvage yard and got trim that would actually match the rest of the house. And then we did this little kind of like laundry area with a lot of baskets, and I've shared a lot about my whole laundry system on here. I never did a ton with this entryway. I sometimes change out the art. I usually have hats here, and then we have some French doors into the kitchen. I found this really cute little door stopper because this door likes to shut on its own. This one stays nice and open. Lately, we've been closing them because Victor is brand new to the wood stove because last year he wasn't moving around. He was just a little baby. And so he really enjoyed when he learned to crawl, pulling up on this wood stove and touching it. And so now, of course, that it's hot, we don't want him to do that. So if we're hanging out in the kitchen, we will close these French doors so that he can't get to it. And then during his naps and stuff, we'll leave them open. I prefer these doors to be open. Now you can see it's just sort of connected right here to the entryway. Now this light, I forgot to mention, this was an old gas light that was rewired. So it's vintage, it's antique, and I found it on eBay. And then Luke and I have our bedroom right here. Now this used to be a living room, but more on that in a bit. We'll go into the kitchen now. So we first have our little eat-in area. I will say I'm looking forward to, in the new house, having a much larger eating space. Currently, we can sit several of us here and then several of us up here at the island. Now, originally when we first moved into this house, the previous owners had this room here set up as a dining room, but it's kind of far away because you have to go first through the entry hall, then the stair hall. And so to me, it made more sense to make the kitchen an eat-in kitchen area. We found that even if we had a table over there, we never traveled over there. We always just ate in the kitchen. It works. Obviously, we have a very large family. So we have to sort of spread out between the island and the eat-in dining area. So here's how the whole kitchen layout kind of is. Now, for those of you who haven't been following along that long, we added all of this. I'll pop a picture in here of how the kitchen looked before. Very outdated. I wanted it light and bright, so we added a window. We took down some cabinets. We had some new cabinets built, and I got a Farmhouse sink from a salvage shop. That's an architectural salvage piece. Got the oven from Facebook Marketplace and had it restored. I found these lights somewhere online. They are also antique, restored, and just lovely. And then these lights here, also antique. I think they're so beautiful. And I was gonna take them out and bring them to my new house, but then I figured anybody who would love this home would also appreciate these fixtures. One of my favorite makeovers we did was here in the pantry. This was just some wire shelves and linoleum or vinyl or something flooring. We did some tile in here. We got cabinetry, big bulky shelving units with some lovely brackets. There's beadboard. Now this beadboard here was original, but then Luke and I added this beadboard. It's not the same, but it definitely gives it a country feel. Now this here was lined with fabric. So we took that out and we put beadboard again to tie it all together. So this is some more storage. We keep our espresso machine in here. It's probably a mess because I didn't really feel like I had to clean this up for the showing. A lot of my canisters are empty now because I haven't been filling everything up anticipating the move. But this is just a really functional pantry. We used this wood butcher block countertop for so many things like fermenting sourdough and vegetables and kefir and water kefir. Normally there's a lot going on there, but obviously during showings, I stashed that all away. So here's one final look at our farmhouse kitchen. We poured so much love into this and just made it, I really think, very beautiful. If you want to see the whole story of this kitchen, I have a playlist called Victorian Farmhouse or Victorian Farmhouse Kitchen Renovation, something along those lines. I can leave it down below, but I shared just everything, like when we did the pantry, when we did the office, because this we built, like this was just an open space. There was nothing here. When we did the little eat-in kitchen area, and then of course the regular kitchen area. And we added this as well just to make it have sort of a unfitted kitchen type of vibe. I want it not to be all cabinetry, but some spots where it was like furniture pieces. So the island's supposed to look like a table, not necessarily like a built-in island. And the hutch is supposed to look, you know, like a hutch, not just cabinetry. I wanted few pieces of actual cabinetry, but then also obviously wanted it very functional, and it has functioned beautifully for us. One of my favorite features of this kitchen, and something I was very serious about accomplishing, was making sure that we had a large window that looked out to the beautiful barn and silo and our animals. So this was a tiny window before, but we added a large window that accomplishes just that. I can see, you know, out to the kids playing, out to the barn, the silo, the garden. This is honestly the worst time of the year for our property. It can be pretty when it snows. It's beautiful in the fall with all the colors. Look at the last video, I think, on this channel. The video is called The Last Homemaking Video in the Farmhouse, when all the leaves were falling, all the maples just look so gorgeous. And then June through October is just gorgeous because everything is green and the trees are full and the garden's overflowing. If you're going to pick an ugly time here on our property, this is 100% it. It's just muddy, everything's dead. So it ended up being a really funny time to sell because a lot of the charm of this home is when it's alive, when it's a homestead bursting with life. And for me personally, November, December, January, February, March are the uglier months. And then there's some new surprise every month throughout the rest of the year. So this is my view right now. Not my favorite of all the seasons, but still quite lovely. And then we have our mud room here. We need to repaint the floor. We paint the floor every once in a while. I'd say it's been a good year since we've done it. So I cover a large majority of the floor with this vinyl mat just because, you know, painted floors only hold up to so much traffic. And as a family of 10, we put a lot of wear on these floors, but it's a hardworking mudroom. We added this cabinetry here, and it's where we keep coats and boots and shoes and all of that good stuff. I swap things out. So in the summer, it'll just be life jackets and swimsuits, and in the winter time, it'll be all the, you know, the coats and the coveralls and all of that. Again, we have French doors here. They normally stay closed, but I wanted it to be nice and open because I love the look. All right, let's move on over to our bedroom. Now this would not be a bedroom. This was a living room originally, but because it has a door here and it has these pocket doors that close, it can be a bedroom. And for our family, the size that it is, we need more bedrooms than we need like a formal dining room. This house is good size. It's 2,500 plus square feet, but as a family of 10, we use every square inch. That's not small by any means, but it's also not massive. And so they're really, we couldn't afford to use any room halfway. That's why when we had this set up as this a living room and then the other room as a dining room, there was a lot of time we didn't even spend any time at all in that room. And with this size of house, this many kids, we needed to be using it to the max. So that's why we decided to make this the living room and that a bedroom. I also did add hardware from House of Antique Hardware here. So these actually, I have a little skeleton key and this little piece of hardware comes out. These actually can close. Now I get asked non-stop. In fact, the family that came here today asked why I don't push the beds against the walls. And I think she wondered, like, is there something underneath or what's the reason for it? And honestly, I don't have a good answer. I think for me, it just felt like I shouldn't push a bed up to a window because it would crush all of the curtain fabric behind it. I like having this spot here to clean. I actually do go behind it some too. It's just another place to move. So I don't know, apparently it's really strange, but I don't push the beds up to the walls. Now, another reason why is these rooms are huge. I don't know if you can tell on here, but there's a lot of space between the bed and then, you know, the exit and this little fireplace area that we put in. And so pushing things against the wall, especially upstairs. We're not upstairs right now, but when I take you upstairs, I think you'll really see there's almost too much room to do that. And so I just didn't feel like, why cover up a window when there's plenty of space? Now, also, there's a lot of windows in this house. So there's really not anywhere to put a bed that wouldn't cover up a window or a doorway. And so anyways, that's why. No big reason. I'm sure a lot of you would not do it that way, but I don't have any method to that except for this is just how we set them up. And in our new house, the rooms, there's a lot more rooms, but they're all a lot smaller. I don't think we will ever do that. We will put the beds against the walls and the windows, but there isn't going to be the space like there is here. It's not going to be a smaller home, but we're going to have more bedrooms in it. So each room will be a bit smaller. So if you want to find this project, this is on the YouTube channel. I did just this little faux area. We found an antique, whatever you want to call this, fireplace thing. That's an actual antique. And then we put bricks in it. I found an antique mantle. We even did tile. Now this isn't actually grouted to the floor. We did these like sticker things, so it possibly could be removed. But it's just to create a little faux fireplace area. We even put the fireplace tools there to really sell it. I think it gives our bedroom here a really nice focal point. Not many closets in this whole house. So we did add tons of armoires. That's what Luke and I use for our closet. And then connected to that bedroom is our living room here. And then the stair hallway where we have another armoire. And then over here in the living room, this piece we actually bought with the house. So this was sitting here when we bought the house. The previous owner asked if we wanted to buy it. I thought it was so beautiful here. And when this was a dining room, this was filled with china and it was so pretty filled with china. And then when we decided to make it a living room, I was like, well, what am I going to do with the china hutch? Well, we decided just instead to make it a bookshelf. There's so much furniture in here that I can't decide. I know technically it's good to stage your home, but then also we want to move and we want to make it to where we can easily, you know, have this place cleaned and ready. But also, yeah, I don't know, because we want to keep a lot of the furniture because I've collected a lot of beautiful pieces. This is our antique piano, pretty basic in here. One of the best features of this home is this south-facing picture window. It's just huge. I don't know if you can tell on the camera how big it is. It's a lovely view. Again, so much better in the summer and fall. Still, when we had cows, they would come up right here. There's a fence so you can see, and I would look out this picture window and see the cows. I absolutely just loved all of that. And then we have our stair hallway. This was a selling feature for us. This is the kind of character you just don't get in a new house. And I'll be so sad to leave this. It's just so beautiful. There's a beadboard door This is the only closet in the house. Beadboard up underneath where the stairs go up, and then the stair that just wraps around beautifully. And we did add wallpaper here, and for a while I was like, I love it, I want to put wallpaper everywhere, but then I realized how hard it is to keep wallpaper with kids. So this is the one and only wallpapered spot. We did add this gallery wall, which I think really makes this staircase beautiful too. We had these stairs refinished. We had all the floors refinished, but we also had them take off each stair tread and refinish it. You can see where I keep Nerf guns. Now in our new house, the one that we're moving to temporarily while we're building our new house, it has stairs that look like this, where they were basically like either really dark stain or painted brown. We opted to not have them refinished. It was just a really big expense in this house because it was so tedious. I think it turned out stunning here, but in the newer house, I think we're just going to do some paint. But yes, I think it was worth it here. Absolutely stunning. Now, several of these were either replaced or broken when we moved in. So I took one of these out and sent it to Abaroot Wood Turning and had them recreate the exact same profile. He matched the original spindle. Now, right at the top of the stairs, there's just a little landing here. We didn't do much except, you know, we finished all the floors, added wallpaper, some art. I found this on Facebook Marketplace. It's a real oil painting. So pretty. I think it just really gives this little stair landing such a simple but elegant little decor. And then the desk I found on Facebook Marketplace. And then here at the top of the landing, you can go to the right for 2 rooms and to the left for 2 rooms. I have been in so many old houses, and that's an extremely common thing. Instead of there being a hallway, the rooms are connected, which is a beautiful, cool old house feature, but also like we're not doing it in our new house. So it's one of those things where I love old houses, and so I'm fully willing to deal with all the character that it entails. And honestly, like I mentioned in our We Are Moving video, really wanted an old house on the property that we wanted, but we could not find it. So I would accept it for all of its quirks, but since we're building, we aren't going to do this layout. It has its challenges with kids. Like this room here, this is where Victor sleeps. Since it's the girls in this room, it's kind of okay because, you know, they know at night his little noisemaker is going. They know to go through pretty quietly. But also, you know, when you have kids going through a room with a sleeping baby, girls can't go in this room during nap time. Victor just naps in here without them going through. So we have some challenges there, but you figure out how to make that work. And then same for this room. I'll go over there in a minute, but since it's 2 rooms connected, it's almost like having one large room because the boys that sleep in the far room obviously know that there are boys to hang out with in this room. So they play, and it, you know, it's a thing at night, of course. But I just think this room is just so charming. We opted to paint the floors because where the pantry is downstairs used to be a staircase that came up through to this room. So this is all very patched. It really wasn't something worth refinishing because it's very wide, it's very rough, it's very patched. But I think with paint, it's actually really charming. This is the type of character that I want to recreate in our new home. I hope this all works out. I'm saying all these things, you know, where we're not on any kind of deadline. They're not waiting to put in the flooring before they can do the next thing. So I understand that with building, there might be some surprises. But what I want to do is find some old kind of rough salvage looking floor for the attic space and paint it and just give it the story almost like this room has. Craft some kind of story with it and give it that character that doesn't make it look like this is a brand new house. So I actually really love this. I'm not just saying that. I really think this is all just the kind of character that you just don't get in a new house. Some people call it character. Some people call it old. I, for one, like it. So we carried that paint in from this room into the girls' room, and we put down a large rug as well. That way to reduce the wear and tear on the paint. We have touched up paint in here, I'd say probably 3 times in the 6 years we've lived here. It's something that Luke can do if the kids and I are at like homeschool co-op or out for the day. You know, that way we don't have to walk on it, but it's not that big of a deal, but it does look a lot better when we touch up the paint. This was painted brown before. So were the boys' rooms over there. Under it was the most beautiful flooring. In here, the guy that was refinishing was like, just don't even bother sanding that brown paint off. It won't be worth it. Now, if you've been following along a while, you remember this was actually the room that me and Luke took for the first several years. But then after a while, for some reason, it didn't occur to me right away that we should use this as another kid's bedroom and we should go downstairs, because when you have 8 kids, having basically 5 bedrooms, so you know we're counting this baby room as a bedroom, this one, the 2 over there, and then mine and Luke's downstairs actually is perfect because you have a room for the baby, a massive boys room, a girls room, and then the adult room. Now we carried the paint on the floor all the way into here. We did recently add a new vanity. We left the shower just, you know, as it was, the shower and tub. This is my favorite room in the house, to be honest. Like, I'm glad that we're downstairs now. It's really nice for our family to have the parents downstairs and the kids zone up here because, you know, you can kind of leave it messy if you need to. But this room has always been my favorite. It's bright, it's sunny, it's charming. We found this canopy bed on Facebook Marketplace. We need to repair this, but we are taking this to our new house and we're taking the canopy bed to our new house. Now, by the time you see this, we are fully moved, but I believe I'm gonna leave this bed here through the showings just because I think that it's so pretty in this room. But the beds over in the boys' rooms, I'm gonna completely empty that room out. It'll be completely empty by the time we are moving, even for showings. There's also a cute little bookshelf area right here that we just emptied off, but it is adorable. We tried to touch up the paint on this door and realized it wasn't fully white. There are so many little things you could do when selling a house, and at some point we're like, this is it. Take it or leave it. This is how it is. Like, we're not gonna get time to repaint that. Maybe we will if it doesn't sell for a while, but yeah, it's a challenge knowing what all you should do because it's stuff that we weren't worried about, but then when you're selling it, there's a lot you think about. Now in this room, I did put the bed all the way against the window. I don't even know. I don't know why I chose to do it that way. Probably because in this room, there's less space. I don't really know. It just, for whatever reason, made sense for me. Let's go over to the boys' room and you can tell me if that made sense, what I did in there. Oh, and we always meant to add a door here and we didn't do it. And so I have this double thick blackout curtain. So we just sewed them back to back. That way it was pretty on both sides. It's really thick. So hopefully, like, you know, not as much noise going in here. Now, I will say that this boy happened to be a lot heavier of a sleeper than my previous boy. And so this actually isn't a problem. But with my boy previous, I really felt like a door here would have been nice. It's just funny the things you put off. Like, how hard would that have been? Don't know, but we never did it. All right, into this room. This is what I'm saying about the beds not being pushed all the way up against the wall. And maybe I just should, but there's just so much space. And especially in this room over here, it feels like it would just be very off-centered to me. I could be persuaded that this is a bad idea though. I'm not like totally married to the don't put your beds against the wall thing. So it's not like a thing that a hill I'm willing to die on. So this room, we did paint it. It was red when we moved in. There's texture on the wall, but we just left that. I think that might actually be in style these days. I think people actually do that, but I wasn't sure, but we just left it. We did put these curtains up. I made a few of them myself, and then I got tired of the project and outsourced it to somebody locally. They are lined blackout curtains with pleats at the top. But other than that, that's kind of all we did in here. We added, you know, we finished the floors, added a rug, added quilts and beds, and they're just very simple rooms. I try to keep my kids' rooms really simple. We spend a ton of time outside. We don't spend a whole lot of time in rooms. It's so much easier on our lives to keep them to where, you know, you can do a quick tidy every day with dirty clothes, any trash, make the beds, and it's pretty simple. Now, there are Legos, lots of Legos behind the beds. Now, they weren't always back there, but during showings, we just have a little toolbox behind each boy's bed that's full of Legos and all of these drawers. So cleaning up Legos it's a thing. And then we have, this is the final bedroom. So you see how huge this room is? If these beds were pushed against the wall, which they almost are, there's just so much space in here. I don't always know what to do with it. We could have fit several kids in here. We have a crib and 2 beds, and it all feels very, very large. And again, you can see that it attaches to this boy's bedroom. Now there is a door. So if we had, you know, too much issues with like saying we didn't want these boys to go in that boy's room at night, which we just don't really worry about it very much. These boys go to bed a little bit later than these boys, but I guess we could put some kind of, or one could have put some kind of like lock on this door while these boys are falling asleep. But yeah, it totally works. I wouldn't choose to have rooms connected like this, but they are really lovely rooms. This room is my husband's favorite. He said it feels like a tree house because it's this bay. I think you call that like a bay extension or whatever. The living room with the big picture window is right below this window here. And it almost feels like you're in a tree house because there's so many windows. And this is a really tall house because the downstairs ceilings are over 9 feet. So you kind of just feel like you're up in the trees. And again, when we had cows, seeing them out there was pretty lovely as well. But both of these rooms are very sunny rooms, and they're simple. Just, you know, we try to keep them very simple, easy to clean. I've got the 4 matching quilts, the matching, you know, beds, 2 in here, 2 in there. We did break some of these. I had these glass prints. They were so pretty, and 2 got knocked off. So these are coming down. These will be gone. But that's why I'm doing this last tour, what it looks like before we have all of our stuff out of here. And I like this room here because it also has a view of the little cottage, which turned out so cute. We added these sidewalks. We added a larger window there in the little front. And the stone chimney was original. We also gave it a new roof, but it's just a pretty view. Okay, last room in the house. I am gonna take you outside and give one last glimpse of that. But this room, it had vinyl, I believe. We added the marble flooring. It also has a real lovely view of the little cottage as well. There's lots of kids in there right now. That's how I have this quiet of a house. If you remember the original makeover I did in this bathroom, there were 2 antique medicine cabinets with mirrors. Well, one of the doors fell off, the glass broke, and I always meant to fix it. And when we went to list this house, I looked high and low to find one that would match and could not. So I ended up having to put in these just regular mirrors. Still cute, but not as cute as they were. We did the little antique bowl vanity, and then it just has a shower. So again, very simple up here. Not a huge amount of renovation or even decor. I just kept all of these spaces up here. Just quite simple. All right, we are going to go outside. So if you remember on like all the renovations we've done, we added these sidewalks. Again, everything's just blech right this time of year, honestly. It's just not, I don't know. I catch this view in my videos all the time, all summer, and there's these huge hydrangeas and stuff overflowing from the window boxes, and there's the shadows that all of the trees with the leaves create, and right now it's all just bare. But it's still, you know, space and privacy, which is good. We added some lights here. We added a little gravel patio type of area of the chickens here. Do you all remember when we added in these corbels and the runner trim? None of that was there before. We modeled that after the side porch. So this runner trim and corbels, these were already here on the side porch, but the front porch was missing them. So I sent in to no, I didn't. I traced them. I traced the entire profile and sent it into Abaroot wood turning. They copied them. They did a mighty fine job. You can see, I mean, I don't know if you could see, but they're basically the exact same. And we added all of this to match the side porch. I had so much fun adding in all of these details.
Yeah.
This cottage here, we'll talk a little bit about the cottage. We added this brick patio. It's dirty right now, but it's really charming. And like any project in this house, there's a YouTube video for it, but I shared all about this cottage and the process of making it really cute. We made that window large, which is really nice because it gives us a cute little view of the house. We brought in the rug, the chairs, this little table, and sort of wanted to make it like an Airbnb where you could have your mini fridge under here and the microwave, the Keurig. I got some really cute light fixtures. I forget where I got those. This is actually a working chimney, but we've never lit it. So I guess I say it's working. I don't really know that 100%, but it appears to be. We put on this new mantle and added in art. This cottage here has a tiny little bathroom with a tiny little sink and tub. I found this at an antique shop somewhere. I've always loved this little wood area here. I think it's just so charming. I found this at an antique shop somewhere. Some very, very, very steep steps. We needed more insulation up here. So we ended up putting insulation in the rafters and put this back over. So that's why we have this like shiplap ceiling. There's just insulation behind it. And we put on a new roof. There's just a little bed up here. Yeah. This art from my friend Sarah Jo. She painted the house. Sarah Jo from Briarton Farm. We will be taking this with us. Got from an architectural salvage. I forget, I think it was just like a one post here before and then we added this on. Give it kind of an antique look. There's really nothing to say about this garage. It's just a nice little garage. But let's go over to the barn. This was a selling factor for us when we bought this property. Our pony will be living at my parents' while we're building our new farm. And then of course he'll go to the farm, but he can't go to town with us. So he'll just be living with their horses. Now this barn, if you remember, my sister got married here in November of 2020 and I shared the whole vlog. I need to link that below if I can remember. If not, just search Farmhouse on Boone barn wedding or something like that, because it's really fun to see what this space looked like, all cleaned out and decorated for a wedding. It was so lovely. It's hard to see that now, but it truly was. A little flock of chickens in here right now. We're gonna probably take all this down. Hopefully that'll help sell the place when you can see what this looks like all cleared out, but we really used this barn as a real barn. All right, we'll head up to the barn loft. I had such big plans and dreams that I never did. Some of you might remember that. Me saying, oh, we're gonna have a big party up here, and I really believed it. I really believed it. But you know how it is when you have things that like you're gonna do and then practically it never quite happens. Well, that would be this barn loft. So the kids do play, or have, looks pretty dirty, they probably haven't played in a while, ping pong up here. It's such a lovely space, just full of potential, honestly. You can't tell how tall it is. I don't know, standing in the middle here, I'm gonna say it's, I don't know. It's at least 3 times my height. It's just tall, it's a lovely space. It's huge. I should really calculate how many square feet. Actually, no, I know this. It's 30 by 50. And again, I really told you all that we were gonna do all these things up here and we were gonna fix it up and have like this big shindig, and I gotta be honest, none of that happened. But I still see the potential with this barn loft. Now this space I first brought you into, that's a lean-to. And then here's another lean-to. This one's kind of scary. Luke put this little door here because we put a fence way over there on that other lean-to so that if the kids are up here, they can't fall. But over here, we actually store hay. And if you walk to the edge here, you can see that you could actually fall off. We store wood in here. Luke has his trailer. There's more hay. We're gonna have to actually move all this hay. I don't know. We plan to have a barn on the property, our new house, our new property, our new farm. It'll never be an old barn like this, but you know, with everything, there's a give and a take. There's pros and cons, and I will miss this barn. We loved it. Here is the whole lean-to. It was full of hay. We finally used all of that up. We have this little spot here. I've shared on here many times. I've shown feeding the pony, but we just drop some hay down through here. And then our garden area is just outside the barn. So pretty and lovely in the summer. You can tell the original barn was red. There's some old paint there. It has a stone foundation. And there's our silo. And who's that over there? Luke already moved the milk stanchion. That was right here. We had that there to milk the cow. If you remember, she used to come in through that door, come right here to the milk stanchion, but we did already move that. We've mostly cleaned this out at this point. Luke has moved so much stuff.
I was asking him to knock on the window.
Well, I remember, doesn't seem that long ago, when I walked down this driveway and showed you all this property for the first time, and just the dream that it unlocked for us the first time that we were able to get out of town and get on a piece of property, build fences, have our first dairy cow, our first goats, and this place will always hold a very, very special place in our hearts because of all of that. Even for moving the dream to a different place, we will always remember and love this place. And I'm sure I'll get really sentimental when I look back at the videos and all the things that we shared here when we built the garden arbor and the garden behind us and our wood racks over here and all the projects that we did inside, and all of it. We will miss it. And I hope that you all have enjoyed following along here at this farmhouse, and hope that you come along with us to our next adventure.